What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. The most frustrated men in the dating game is not who you think. Is not who you think. Oh, man. Let me describe those men that, women on paper at least say that they want. Or, they'll say they generally want this, regardless who they get with. I mean, in fact, they're considered ideal men for many women. And other men will look at them with jealousy and everything. And for all those men who be measuring other men's faces and looking at them physically, other men will be like, yeah. Those men will be like, yeah. Even some dudes ain't into that. They would be like, yeah. In fact, I could even say, what the fuck is that on my... Okay. I can even say, like, these guys practice body game, too. He's like, who are you talking about, bro? And, they ain't the incels or lames or loners or anything like that. Or guys who aren't considered the physical ideal. The men who are the most frustrated are those men who some black pillars would call them Chad. They would be called alphas or, top 1%, even though, well, we ain't going to get into the technicalities of that. They would be considered top men. They would be considered top men. So I know somebody saying, oh, man, Rom finally showing his craziness. Ain't no way those guys would be frustrated. I left out one little thing about them. One little thing. They're genuinely good men. Genuine nice guys. Very good guys. Now, before somebody say, well, hold up. If a guy got all that, he's looking all handsome. He hitting the gym like Rom keep preaching. Dresses well. And hold up. Let me add one more thing. They can have a conversation. They don't have no shyness around women. They can actually have a good conversation with a woman. But they would be seen as nice guys. See, here's the difference. Here's the difference between them and guys who getting it like crazy. They ain't trying. They genuinely nice guys. They ain't trying to be player. They ain't trying to be that womanizer or something. In fact, that show that I've talked about a few times and is actually coming back for another season. And not next week, week afterwards. F-Boy Island. Now, the whole premise of F-Boy Island was a bunch of guys trying to win. Wait a minute. I always gotta blast these defrosters. The whole premise of F-Boy Island is you got two groups of men trying to get a particular woman. One group of men, of course, are the F-boys, the fuckboys, players, womanizers, dogs, and all of that. The other guys are genuine nice guys. And trust me, the way the producers going on, they running them through psychological tests and everything. They're going to make sure they're going to get the right type. And it was only, I think it was one guy who might have fooled them. But even he didn't really fool them. They already knew, because one guy on that show said, when he was kicked off, said, well, I'm a nice guy. But then the producers came up and said, nah, we got these tapes of you. You were lying. You were an F-boy. So they know. But I want y'all to think about it. If you ever watch that show, F-Boy Island, and just look it up, just do a search on it. If you see the contestants, you can't look at them and tell who is him. All of them looking fly. All of them got that drip, fit, whatever you want to say. They let the barber bless them. All of them working out. All of them got body game. All of them are considered consensusly handsome. Consensusly, right? So, they ain't just have anybody up on these shows. But half of them were just genuinely nice guys, good guys. And not just total dorks, but just guys who... they actually just want a relationship. It's funny to me that women, they want, of course, they in general want the top men. All of them got their own preferences and everything. Or they'll say stuff like, you know, they want a man who wants to be a father, wants to take care of the kids and everything. You know, they'll say they want a guy who's working. Now, I always say, yeah, they want that physical attraction and everything. These guys are physically attractive. And then they'll say stuff like, well, we want him to be physically attractive and be responsible. These guys are responsible. You know, we want them to have money. These guys usually have great jobs, like good, steady jobs. The only difference between these frustrated men and the F-boys, the players getting women, is just in just those terms. One type, they genuinely good men. What women consider good, loyal, monogamous, you know, just want one woman, want to be a father and stuff, want to be married. Versus the F-boys, shoot, they just want to get the pussy. And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. And see, the frustration, you can't really blame it on, well, some people are going to always blame the women, even though I say don't blame the women. But the frustration is because these guys got a sense of themselves, because they functional. You know, you get a combination of two things. One, these guys ain't going to just mess with any woman. See, here's the thing. See, an F-boy just want his dick wet. Seriously. An F-boy, no matter what, his bottom line is getting the pussy. So an F-boy will fuck with a crazy woman. He'll fuck with an incompatible woman. He ain't thinking long term. Shit. In fact, a true F-boy thinking about how to get rid of her probably before he even stuck his dick in her. He already thinking about how to get rid of her. He's already thinking about the requisite lie, because, you know, even though I say be honest, you know, some guys out here gonna lie. You know, he already prepared for it. He ain't trying to stay with her long term or anything. So if she got some craziness to her, she got some issues with her, he don't care as long as she suck his dick. You know? But so it's easy, you know, it's easy for him to get a woman because he don't have too much criteria, even if he just want an attractive woman. Because if you're dealing with a woman, you got to deal with her emotional stuff too. See, the F-boy don't give a fuck. The F-boy don't give a fuck. The truly good men, though, who thinking, you know, they thinking long term. They thinking, oh, they want a good woman. And let's be real, we don't talk religion enough. They following whatever their religious path is. They doing it. They doing everything. They the men that therapists would tell their clients, their female clients, they should be messing with. In fact, this is how deep that shit is with those good men. Why they can even get even frustrated. Right now, not just from their own wanting to deal with a good woman. Because, you know, they're going to have some standards and everything. But even when they meet some women sometime. Even when they meet some women and, like, say they meet a woman and she's real nice. You know, and, you know, they get along, they talking, everything. She got a lot going on for her in his eyes. She might not want him, and, you know, I'm going a woman, but I got to say this. And shout out Jay Flex. He said something about, he touched on this in a post he did on IG. You know, some of these women, they got so much shit with them. They got so much shit with them, they don't want a genuinely good man. They want that drama because of their own shit. They want that dude who a little crazy. Meanwhile, this good guy ain't a little crazy. Because, see, understand something. He'll be perfect. In fact, I've lost count how many women I've talked to. Because remember, I told you a third of my consultation clients are women. And I've been talking to women about their preferences, why they dealing with a certain man since the 80s. Shoot. And I lost count how many women I said, okay, hold up. Why you dealing with that guy? And they'd be like, I don't know. He tugs at my heart. Something. And then say, well, hold up, though. Because they always had that one really good guy there. And you start talking to him and asking him about it. You'd be like, well, hold up. You got that guy there. What's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? You know, they'll say the guy, is he ugly to you? They say, no, he's very handsome. Is he broke? Because even though I say broke men can get some, let's be real. Money plays a role with many men. you know, or at least women say it do publicly. You know, the broke man still get with it, especially if you're a little crazy. But here's the thing. So, you know, she'd be like, I'll be asking him, well, okay, he ain't broke, well, you don't like his body? She should be like, nah, he got a perfect body. Be having all that stuff, everything she want. But she, you know what? She'll say she love him, but she ain't in love with him. And that's frustrated some women. I've had several women, I've had several clients. I can't give specifics, I'll say just in general. Several female clients have said they met this guy, he's all this. He's all this. Yet they don't feel that spark for him. And see, that's something women got to deal with. As men, we can call it crazy, whatever, but it's always that thing in women that they gotta feel a certain spark, and it's nothing logical about it. If women in general had logic about how they chose men, there'd be an extremely low divorce rate, maybe not even one at all. Because as a whole, and I challenge any woman to tell me otherwise. You talk to any woman, they met a guy who did all the stuff that they wanted except for the spark. Except for the spark. And then if you want to talk about the spark, oh, that's based on several factors. Subconscious. The women ain't even aware of it because, you know, I'm known for introducing discussion about the imprint. And just to be clear, the woman's imprint, well, the sexual side of it actually started is a combination of 3 men. I always say 3, but a minimum 2. The first 2 to 3 men that she slept with. Subconsciously, she is going to develop a blueprint for guys who got all of those traits, a combination of those traits, both physical and psychological, emotional, and everything. Sometimes even circumstances under which they got together. Because I know a woman, unfortunately, her imprint is a gang rape. And she's had trouble with relationships from that point. Like all her relationships, there was always an element of force, even if it was consensual on her part. Always an element, though. That's how deep it is. And real quick about that, I know that because when I first heard about imprints, I didn't accept the idea. I actually interviewed a bunch of women, asked them the questions. What I did was ask them about the first 3 men they had sex with. I ain't even say like this an imprint or something. I just asked them. Then I said, okay, put the traits together. So tell me about the other men you've been with. And then many of them saw, they was like, wait a minute, I always got a man that fit that blueprint. But here's the thing with it. It's subconscious. Like on a basic level, women have a natural attraction for a man who resembles their imprint. It's not, like I said, it's never it's not always a particular man, but somebody who matches it. And even deeper than that, you could say it goes back to her father, her relationship with her father. This is some Western psychology. It's talked about. Freud has talked about that. You know, Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud has talked about that. You know, that inner thing where a child around the age of 7 or 8 wants to marry their opposite sex parent. So that's really, well, that's really just the real base of an imprint. Really goes down to DNA itself, but that's too deep. But just understand that. So, you know, and then even after the imprint, the different types of men she dealt with, which adds to it, because usually the men she'll go for are the men who resemble the imprint. She will have that. And incidentally, anybody think they can break an imprint, you got to match it in order to really override it. It never goes anywhere place. You got to match it first. And she might not consciously know what it is. So, but whatever the case, a lot of times they'll meet a good guy, got everything, she'll genuinely like him, but she won't feel that spark simply because he doesn't match the imprint. Simply. And then some other factors too. You know, even what's been added to the imprint and everything. Like that young lady I said I knew whose imprint was a gang rape. You always said that, I saw that. She was ridiculously open, but also you had to have an element of force to deal with her. And I know another young lady, and I sincerely pray for her. I think she finally found the right guy, but always abusive guys. See, that's the thing. You know, if you get some women who used to dealing with a certain type of man, you know, abusive, dog them out. I remember one young lady, she was like, she kept wondering why she always wanted players. Her father was a player. Her imprint players. Her imprint were all like hit it and quit it. The first 3 men that hit it, and they quit it. So whenever she encountered a man who looked like he was going to hang around, be a good man, she tried with him, but couldn't make it work. Yeah, she tried something with him, but she just couldn't make it work. And you know, in many, it was just that's just something. And that's just one thing. It's so much. It's so much. It's so many things that go into it. Because I always tell the story. I've told the story a couple times. There's one woman, we were just friends with benefits. I ain't never take her out. I just go over her house, get my stuff off, and then go. I ain't never take her out one time. Because we met at a club, got the phone number. She invited me over. Nothing but sex. Never spend any money. But, you know, my thing was, hey, I'm messing with other women. She can do what she want. I ain't never tried to lock her down. She actually said she met a guy who had everything. Everything. She said he had handsome, money, more money than me. She even said he was more handsome than me. All this stuff. But she didn't feel anything for him. And I was just, you know, and she's selling me this, you know, after we done finished about 2 sessions. And I thought about that. I always remembered it from then. Because that's the thing. You get a lot of guys, they got it. They generally good men, but they not crazy. They treating a woman right. They ain't matching her imprint, you know. They functional. They don't want a bunch of drama. Because you got a lot of guys out here, like they got everything. Like I said, body game, they hitting the gym too. And yeah, they are getting attention. Let me get back to that part. They getting attention from women. But if you get a good man who's he getting himself together. All right, he take care of himself. He can talk to women. He ain't some buster out here. He ain't some lame. He ain't gonna want to take every woman. So then it switches back over to him. For him, there's gonna be a shortage of good women. You know? Because he's not going to want to deal with every woman. He ain't going to want to date all these women. And yeah, he could probably get plenty of pussy if he felt like dealing with some drama. But nah, he's serious. In fact, depending on his religion, it might be against his religion. You know? I don't talk about religion enough, but depending on if he a staunch Christian or a staunch Muslim, I ain't sure about the Jewish people, no disrespect. But if he's staunch with it, he's going to be very staunch about who he deal with. You know? So he can't just mess with any woman. He can't be messing with her. In fact, when I talk about in cooperation to your operation, oh, these men know it better. Shoot, they understand exactly what I'm talking about because they realize, look, first of all, their whole attitude is, hold up, I'm the man here. I need that woman. I can't be dealing with some independent woman or something. They can't, seriously, you don't have to tell them that because they got their shit together. They don't need some woman talking about she independent. He trying to build a family and a child. So he going to be picky about it. So he going to be thinking, hold up. Especially if you're religious, say, hold up, is she worshiping God the same way? You know? Is she an asset to me? Can I take her out? Like, if he's a professional, he could be a professional. Like, if you like a professional, like you corporate, like a corporate man, gotta be picky. And I've told women that, because you get these women out here talking about they want some guy making 6 figures and everything. Like, when my woman's channel was active, I told him straight up. I say, look, no, you get a man who's like more upper class, or he built himself up, whether he started there or he built himself to be to that point, it becomes paramount to be around the right type of woman. He can't just be around any type of woman. That's very important, because when you in those business environments, a lot of stuff is not decided in some boardroom. A lot of stuff is decided social. Anybody who's more upper middle class, the type of woman that you have on your arm, they judging you just doing that as well. So if you you know, you dealing with some corporate executives. I ain't talking about some middle managers or something. I'm talking about people who making decisions that's affecting people's lives. If you on that level especially, it's very important which type of woman you deal with. And if you're a man trying to build up, some fire up here. Oh no, that's just an ambulance. Wait a minute, I see a bike down. I think somebody might have got hit. What the fuck? Oh no, there's more than just an ambulance. Popo up here, everything. Damn, they were chasing somebody. But anyway, if you a man and you like seriously, I want y'all to think about this shit. You worked hard. You got a couple extra degrees. You got some degrees. You worked hard. You're a professional. You know, you could be a doctor. You could be an attorney. All that stuff, right? You can be all of those things. Now, people will say, "No, you got none but women. You got none but women." It's like, no. If all you want is your dick wet, but then you got to start being careful. Because I know a dude, and I remember met him back in 2006. And this dude had real money. This dude was making $10,000 a month in 2006 money, which means probably about $30,000 a month now. And he got caught up with this woman. He was pissed off. He was way above her, but he got caught up. See, a man, one thing, they'll be frustrated because they're just not finding a woman on their level. Because you got all these women talking about a man being on their level. You got some women with some little degrees and everything thinking they above a man. Okay, so what happens when that man's above you? He's not going to just take you. He's looking at that stuff too. He is looking at it. Yeah, he could get all the pussy in the world if that's what he wanted, but a man who's doing something with his life, he building a business. He building a business. He building a career. He's a professional. You know, and I mentioned when I was talking about single and lonely men the other day, and I say, yeah, some guys, they ain't making money like that. And, well, nah, they not motivated to really make money. Shoot. These men, shoot, they motivated to do stuff just to get through the world. It ain't even about the women. And, yeah, they could probably get a woman here and there. But just on their level, if they just stick to their level, it's not, well, it's some. But it depends on where they at and everything. Seriously, it depends on where they at, where they living, what their social circle is. It's not going to be some casual thing. Like, these powerful guys, you talking about those guys got everything, they ain't going to be just trying to holler at women in the street. If you got a man and women see him as handsome, muscular, tall, that, yeah, he'll get some attention. But then if he got all the other stuff that women say they want, you know, 6 figures, making money. First of all, he probably won't be walking down the street anyway on a casual basis because he's going to have a nice car. He's going to have a nice place. Even if he's by himself, he's still going to have a nice place. He'll still get a nice condo or high-rise, luxury apartment, maybe a house anyway. He probably get a house just so he got something that he can get some money back on taxes for. You know, he's still going to be doing something. And yeah, he probably, you know what, honestly, even though some people be talking about, yeah, he can have a high count and all of that. No, probably not. Because he's going to be picky if he's smart. Because a man, shoot, you already know. He don't want to work hard and stuff and have to pay some child support to some little ratchet-ass woman. If he even give one of those a time a day. So sometimes it can be frustrating on just so many levels. You know, first he got to find someone on his level. Fuck that other shit. Any woman want to argue with that? You got some women nowadays talking about their degrees and their money, and this dude looking at them like, all right, well, hon, I got a bachelor's in finance. I got an MBA, you know. I know some dudes, I know a couple dudes, they had Juris Doctors, which are law degrees, and MDs. I knew this law professor. He had the Juris Doctor law professor. He was studying to be a doctor too. Shoot, it don't become as easy. And then not even getting into even if they find a woman on their level, they still got to click personality-wise. They actually still have to be physically attractive. So it's actually frustrating. Now it's a small group. Now let's be clear. It's not everybody. I would say mainly men who look like they should have women lined up. But, you know, they got a lot going on. And plus, like I said, they genuinely good guys, but they ain't on that player thing just for personal reasons. They don't want to mess with a bunch of women. They actually looking for a wife. They actually want a wife. But like I said, a lot of women don't qualify. A lot of women, even some of the ones they go out with, might want a little bit more drama and stuff. Because that's a whole other conversation right there. Because you get some women, they can meet these men and they say, nah, he corny, he this or that. I've actually seen some women say that. Because their minds are still about some drama and shit. You know? Because of their past men they dealt with, their imprint, have a player father. Shoot, they want it. They'll still deal with that man if he's a player too. But like I said, a lot of guys ain't about that life. They don't want that life. They just want a good woman. They want to chill out. They generally want to do some shit for the community. They genuinely want to do some stuff for the community. Like, they're generally good. You talk to them and you find out they ain't some dorks. They can talk to a woman. But combination of their own standards and the woman's craziness might not be a fit. So it's actually a shortage. In fact, I wrote an article back in roughly around 2000. Roughly around 1999. It was my first viral article. And it was focused just on the black community. Because it was talking about it was called Successful Black Men and the Shortage of Good Black Women. Oh, I was getting cursed out. Except some women understood it. One woman said, yeah, you'll never get anybody. So I showed it to my wife. So it's like, it's a surprise who the first person who published it too. It was actually a woman known for going hard on men. So, and she was actually supporting what I was saying because she understood. Because I was talking about successful black men, but you can actually like extend that to any man of any race, any man. I don't care what the race is, unless he consciously wants to be a player. If he got standards, like I said, a combination of his standards and her craziness, it's not always easy for him. So a lot of times they can be frustrated. In fact, I mentioned the article I saw when I was talking about some of these single men. They said, yeah, you got some men out here, they lawyers, doctors, accountants, and everything, frustrated. Now, if all they want is a warm, a warm bed buddy or something, yeah, they can get that. Let's just be clear on that. They can. But then, do they want to put up with bullshit from her? Or, okay, her craziness, or a woman who really ain't feeling him, who checking out that bum dude or something, or that player dude, or that dysfunctional dude, because that dysfunctional dude matches her imprint. And then he going to have standards. Like I've told women, I said, shoot, those guys like that, you wouldn't qualify for a six-figure man. So it's like you get all that stuff in there. And I feel for them too, because they're doing everything. But just finding that right woman, that can be frustrating. Now, like I said, I'm going to reiterate, if they want to be player, please, those guys will stay in some pussy. And some guys will say they should, but look, we got to be honest about it. There's a lot of men out here. They ain't about that life, and people got to respect them. Seriously. You got to respect them. They really ain't about that life. They were raised up, like, especially if they were raised up in good families and they saw what their parents had. Because contrary to popular belief, there's a lot of men out here raised up in two-parent households. And they saw their father working, and they saw their mother working as well, being good. Nobody's perfect, but being good, raising the children, actually being together. That's just a reality. They say they are used to a stable environment. So they're going to want that. They're going to be stable as a result. So they ain't going to want to chase around and do a bunch of crazy shit. They're going to want to replicate it. Because even a more powerful thing than a sexual imprint is just the imprint of the environment you grow up in as a child. In fact, some psychologists have said your personality is basically formed by the age of 5. You know, the basics. Now, they said that. I still have to research it to agree with it, but I've seen it a lot. So if you grow up in if you're a man and you grow up in a stable environment, 2-parent household, you don't grow up in the streets or something. You know, you ain't grow up in the H-O-double-D. Just go with me. I know that's not how you spell hood. Just go with it, yo. Somebody used to say it like that, the H-O-double-D. We just said, okay, feels a thug, dude. We ain't feel like arguing. But you ain't grow up in the H-O-double-D. You grew up in a 2-parent household. You ain't have to worry about all the stuff. You went to a good school. You grew up in a stable environment as a man. You ain't going to want all that crazy ass shit. You are not going to want that crazy shit. And you're not going to want it in a woman. Because remember what I said about women basing their initial imprint is their fathers. For a man, his initial imprint is his mother. So if his mother a good, loyal woman who keep herself up, who's being a good mother, and indeed, even if she's working too, she ain't necessarily traditional, she probably had to work herself, but he's seeing something good, she's behaving like some sense. He gonna want that in his woman. But he going to be looking around like, damn, I don't see any women like that. Seriously, that's just a reality. Because even his first imprint, now man's imprint is different. A man's imprint is a combination of whether the first attractive female he met was either friendly to him or rejected him. How she treat him mentally. And the first woman he actually sleeps with. See, a man just need that combination. So with that, he's probably in a better environment. So his first woman's probably, especially if he handsome and all of that, got some stuff going on. She's showing a certain thing to him. So he wants that. The first girlfriend he probably had some reasonable level of attractiveness. So he's going to want that. But he's going to say, how can I find that? And I've heard a lot of men say that. That's not talked about enough. A lot of men say they want someone like their mom. Now, some people call them mama's boys and all of that. No, that's some bullshit. No, they want some peace and stability. That's just normal. That's psychological. That's a male imprint. That's the male imprint. You want somebody like that. And guys, that's going to be frustrating because they're going to look up and say, hold up, I got all this, I can't find it. But it's just a reality. And for the guys out there who feel like, okay, they there, they should be getting all these women, they hitting the gym, shit, they hitting it harder than I do. You know, they got a degrees, or even if they not degreed, like I talked about attorneys and doctors, but what if they like a blue collar guy, they just a hard working dude. They just a legitimate hard working dude, got their own business, they could own the, fuck being just a plumber, they own the plumbing company. They own they're an electrician that owns a company. Or even if they just working for somebody, they a steady worker, they making a lot of money. Shit, I used to rent a house from this couple. Both of them were electricians. Shit, they own so much property. There was a time I couldn't pay the rent fully for 2 months, and they were just like, you know, I paid them back eventually, but they were cool. That's how much money they were making. They were just like, we got you, man, we all right. Because they own the house, they were renting to me outright. But so that could be anybody. So that's the thing though, man. That's the thing. I mean, think about it. As a man, you got all the stuff people, you know, all these people online, everything, even what I'm saying, you hitting the gym too. But just finding that right woman, that could be frustrating. That could be frustrating. And like I said, if you just want to be on some crazy shit, fuck some crazy woman or some shit. Okay, that's easy. But then you got some drama behind that shit. And it's like you trying to work hard, trying to build some shit. You don't got time for drama. And then, you know, and then sometimes you meet a woman and you think everything good, but she love you, but she ain't in love with you because you don't got that craziness in you that she on a subconscious level craves. So it's like, damn. And then you still got your standard anyway. You're going to have a standard, so you shit. You ain't going to see all these women, like these women walking around looking half ratchet or whatever, you ain't gonna want them either. So yeah, that's the most frustrated group. People say, well, no, it's incels. No. Because one thing, you talk about incels and lanes, a lot of times they know this shit fucked up. They know it at least. You know, but it's fucked up to have everything that the media people say that you gotta have. You got it, and it's still trouble. You got 6 figures, shit, maybe 7 figures. You got everything. Hell, you ain't living in a basement. You bought a house just because you wanted a house any damn way. Shit, you know, or a luxury apartment. You got that. You ain't even trying to impress the women. You doing that shit for your own edification. But it's frustrating finding that right woman if you not a player, you know? Because like I said, a player just want his dick wet. So a player fuck with a crazy woman. Or he'll fuck with a woman because he know he ain't going to stay with her anyway. So he don't have no investment in how crazy she is. She just need to be smart enough. In fact, some players, especially if they got some money, shit, they might get an apartment somewhere. They'll get an apartment somewhere that's not his real address. They will get an extra apartment. I know of some professional men who are players. They'll have like 2 or 3 addresses. So, but if a man ain't trying to be one, ain't trying to be a sincere, good guy, trying to work hard, you know, you need a woman to fulfill it. So, and I'm going to say it. I'll argue with somebody. They frustrated. Because that's the frustration. You got all this shit, but not getting the ultimate thing that you probably want. Well, not ultimate, but, you know, just that happy relationship, that happy marriage or something. And I know some dudes be against it and everything, but, you know, something I remember, when you start getting up there, marriage becomes very important. Like Inc. magazine, they had their 5,000 fastest growing companies or something like that. And they were saying 84% of the CEOs and stuff were married. And then another percentage of them, out of the remaining 16%, I think it was another 9%, I think, at least were in a steady relationship. Being in the right relationship is a business thing, you know, and a lot of guys want that. So it's frustrating they can't get that. I want y'all to think about that, all right? And I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna let y'all go and get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.